Buckle up, sports fanatics. This is the Sports Chasers Podcast, your HQ for in-depth sports talk. Join host Kevin L. Warren and crew as they dissect the hottest stories, ignite debates, and bring you closer to the action. From locker room whispers to expert takes, we cover it all. It's game time, so strap in and grab a drink. The Sports Chasers Podcast starts right.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's another edition of the Sports Chasers Podcast coming to you. We're not live today, but we got a great one for you today when it comes to the interview sessions, man. But before I get into that, for all those in the sound of my voice, and if you're watching, make sure you like, click, and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit the bells for all the notifications so you can get all this wonderful content, man. And all those on the podcast side, make sure you give us that 5-star review. For those that's listening on the podcast side, love us or hate us, let us know how we're doing, man. And hey, we love what we do here at the Sports Chasers Podcast today. So speaking of sports, man, we got boxing on tap today, and some other things for our guest today. We got a very special guest. Maybe before we meet our guest, let's meet one of the crew. DA, what's up? Good morning, sir. How are you?
There we go. I'm good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm ready to get into this one tonight, man. We got an awesome guest today, man. So I'm not going to delay the thing, man. I'm going to get into it and give him a proper introduction here, man. So our guest here, welcome to another edition of the Sports Chasers Podcast, interview sessions where we deliver and delve into journeys of remarkable individuals who have made significant impacts over the world of sports and beyond. That's right, and beyond. Today, we're honored to have with us such a great guest whose story is inspiring as unique. Our guest spotlight today is Cam F. Awesome. He is a 5-time USA boxing national champion, 4-time national Golden Gloves champion, 3-time Olympic trials champion, bronze medalist at the 2015 Pan American Games, captain of the USA national boxing team, athlete director of the U.S. Boxing Board of Directors, featured in the Netflix documentary Counter Punch, man. And also there's some other things we're going to get into, man. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's meet today our special guest, Mr. Cam Awesome.
Oh, what's up? Thank you guys for having me.
What's going on, man? That Netflix special, man, like I said, we was talking about earlier before we came on air, man. That thing was dope, man. It featured a couple of the other boxes, man, but your story was so inspiring, and how they was able to capture you, even in some of the frustration moments, even the one in the hotel. That's how life is sometimes. Sometimes you have your ups and you have your downs, man, but you say a couple of words sometimes that I like. One of my favorite words, resilient. And what's resiliency? Just the ability to bounce back from something, man. So we're glad to have you here at the Sports Chasers Podcast, man. And glad to have you here, sir. So I just want to start out. What got you into boxing?
I got into boxing. One, it was the only free gym in the neighborhood, and I was dealing with bullying, and I've never been a victim. And I always felt like I had the ability to change my situation. So I thought if I joined the boxing gym, you know how some people, primarily, no shade, but like girlfriends or females just want to talk about their problems and they just want someone to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I'm about action. Like, don't tell me about your problems. Let's work on a solution. So I was like, okay, I'm dealing with bullying. I go to the boxing gym. It'll take a little bit, but once I become a boxer and I learn how to fight, I can defend myself.
Right.
Then I learned once you know how to fight, you don't have to.
How old are you, Kim?
36.
You're a young man, young man. That's what I thought. And I think for your generation, that's kind of, because you guys are really passive aggressive in your generation, and maybe younger as well, right? So, but and a little older. But I think that mindset will get you out of a lot of friggin' trouble. Just go ahead and do it. Look, you can be wrong. Being wrong is not a bad thing because you usually can't be right till you're wrong. But the reality is, just go.
Yeah, I'd rather be wrong than be stagnant.
Yeah, man. You got to move because there is no such. I tell people, And you can tell kids this. I like to pass on old man pieces of wisdom.
Hit me with it, baby. Hit me with it.
There is no such thing as stagnancy. Gravity affects all things on this planet at all times at 9.8 meters per second. There is no standing still. Either you're moving or you're dying. Right? Either you're sinking or you're swimming.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you're treading water, you're doing something, right? Because gravity is going to get you either way, right?
Yeah, you're right. Treading water, you still staying in the same spot and doing a lot of work.
Yeah. It's the same spot, still doing a lot of work. So that said, just tell folks, you can't be stagnant because there's no such thing as being stagnant.
Yeah,
Either you're moving or you're sinking, right?
You're right. And if you don't take enough action, you're just going to stay in the same spot. Just instead of moving backward, you take enough action, but you have to go that extra mile to actually get some progress.
Yeah, to move forward, because you can tread water as long as you can, but the shore is still going to be where it's at, and you're still going to be where you're at. Unless you move forward, treading water won't help. It'll keep you alive, and you'll exist, but you won't live. So
yeah, I'm trying to thrive, not survive.
Man, we all are. And sometimes, like I said, I find myself, not moving at the pace I want to move. And my son just sent me a book today to read. So I'm like, okay. And it's funny, I got the book here in the house, and I'm like, yeah, that sucks when somebody sends you a book to help you and you have the book in your house already.
I hit you with another one. You read someone's book because you value their opinion, you value their insight, and you want to take the actions they took to get where they are. And as soon as you get to the end of the chapter, they're like, hey, do this action step before you move any further. What do we do?
Nothing. We just go to the next page.
Go to the next page.
Yeah.
I got shelves of books over there with actions I haven't taken. And what's information without action? It's a waste of time.
Yeah. And you think back, Cam, and I'll let Kev get back to the official show stuff. But man, just think about it. If we used all the information at the end of all of our chapter ones in these books, where we'd be today, right? Yeah. So that's just how simple it is, right? Because human beings are in a continuum. So people pass down information, and that's what we do. And we keep doing it. And the ones that win actually just listen. That's all. It's nothing big. All right, Kevin, I apologize, sir. I always
And now you're good, man. So 2013, February, that's when you had your transition, so to speak, where you transitioned your name to Cam F. Awesome. What made you do this transition, and how did it come about? And let our audience know.
Yeah, so I was captain USA national team. I've won nationals 2008 to 2012. 2012, I won the Olympic trials. Subsequently, was kicked off the team. And before that, I was this cocky person. I knew I was going to win. I felt myself. Mm-hmm. I didn't think my ish didn't stink. And then I got suspended, and I started beating myself up. And I realized that I realized how important your internal dialogue is. And I didn't like the way I was speaking to myself. And I wanted to change that. When you think about in the comments, because I read the comments, at least back then I did. And one of the comments was, I bet he's humble now. Because I used to be cocky. And I was like, wow. I looked up humility. And the definition is having or showing a low or modest estimate of one's own importance. And I thought about it. And again, I'm very anti-system in every way. If information is given to everyone, I ignore that information because it's for the sheep.
Right.
I'm a strategic non-conformist. So I see what everybody else is doing. I'm like, okay, that's not what I'm doing. Because I'm not talented or intelligent enough to compete with everybody in their space.
Indeed.
I'm create my own space. So I saw what humility was. I saw that it doesn't help anyone. And I realized humility is just the cornerstone for imposter syndrome.
Wow.
Imposter syndrome, someone works real hard to get somewhere. They
Yeah.
took all the steps to get there. Once they get there, they think, I don't belong to be here.
Yeah.
And I've seen in boxing so many guys who were killers in the gym. As soon as they get to the fights and the lights are on them, they allow the moment to become bigger than them.
Right.
And I decided I'm bigger than any moment. So I changed my last name to Awesome as a reminder that I'm dope. Like,
And yeah, listen,
I'm not
man,
going to apologize for it.
hell effing no, dog. Like, why? Listen, man. That's the problem with most folks, man. It comes from belief first. That inner eye, you got to believe that you can do this and I'm supposed to be here. Right? I told a young lady yesterday, we going to a meeting. I don't know why they invited me to this stupid meeting. I said, well, that's what you're going to get out of it. Somebody invited you because they thought that they could value something, your opinion could maybe make a difference in this meeting and this project and this and this that, whatever it is. But if you go into it like, I don't know nothing, I shouldn't do it. Yeah, you're right. Don't go.
No.
I don't really need you here if that's what you're doing, right? So, yeah, people always. So we do a sports podcast, and we love sports. We talk about sports, and there are times where me, my compadres, I'm not saying get upset, but I think sometimes we forget that to be an athlete at the highest level, you have to be arrogant. You have to be an asshole, because the first time somebody punches you in the mouth, it's not the sucker that's going to punch back. It's that dude that's going to come back at you,
Yeah.
And so you're a counterpuncher. So I like a southpaw counterpuncher. That's your job. Your job is to take bow, take bow, 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 take bow, bow, bow. Right. So you taking that hit is actually strategically part of what you're doing. Yeah. The hit is supposed to happen. If you don't get the hit, it's kind of hard for you to react off that, because you're like, oh, well, he throw left, they throw right, where his feet at. All those questions get answered really quick as soon as he throws the punch. Like, where he's at, what he's doing. Okay. You know what you're going to do next, like instinctively. So, I think if there was a boxing adage to put to life, is you probably would want to. Everybody wants to be the aggressive guy, but the counterpuncher probably has more of an advantage in the fight, because you get to see what's happening.
I agree. You don't get to make the first move, but you get to dictate everything after that first move, and that's what life is.
Unless you get
Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah, right.
I'll give you one further. When I'm walking in the ring, like, you find out who you're fighting usually the day before, and a lot of times because it's a tournament,
right?
And anytime a guy comes up to me and says, "Oh my gosh, Cam, honor to be fighting you. I've been watching your fights for a long time." Well, you'll never beat me. Yeah. You respect me. I don't got no type of respect for anybody.
Not in the ring.
Not in the ring, not in life. Bro, I get on stage, I speak to people with doctorates, master's degree. I barely made it out of high school. They're no better than me.
Facts.
I'm not walking around handing respect. One thing my mama did do when I was little, everyone's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. There's a lady in my apartment complex who, the lady, the leasing officer, her name is Miss Angela. I'm very respectful to older women. That's it. I don't give a shit about nobody else. Like, I want to be, I put myself on the pedestal to where everybody else is. Because you can't just go around handing out respect.
No, yeah, you got to earn it. It should be earned. And I will be at your TED Talk. Just when you start cursing those cats out, I will be first. Because I've been waiting for that for 20 years. Somebody get to be like, you motherfucker, man. Think y'all know y'all don't know you dudes all posing.
Bro, everyone's even in the court. So I'm speaking in the corporate world, and I wear my joggers. I wear my t-shirt. I'm not wearing a suit. I bought 3 blazers. I felt fake. I can't do that. I felt like everyone's dressing like what they think a successful adult should look like. Yeah. We all playing make-believe.
Yeah.
Be who you are. I don't care what my doctor wears if they're good at doctoring.
Yeah.
So many people have to rely on how white their coat is to show that they're good at their job. Nah, be skillful. You good enough, you can wear what you want.
And you know, it's funny. Well, I'm not a big religious dude, Kevin, tell you that. But when COVID happened, it showed the world that. Because you didn't have to be in the office with an 8-piece suit on no more to be good at what you did.
Nope.
You could be sitting in your drawers in your house, making it happen. The number one brain surgeon in the world has hair like yours,
Word.
And dude wasn't like, dude's told, oh, you can't have. He said, I can now. I'm the best.
Oh.
He said, so when dudes come to my office, they're not caring that I got this. They're like, yo, this dude can get rid of this tumor right now. I don't care what his hair look like. This is what we doing with him, and we're paying him to do it. So yeah, I think life is now it's kind of taking off the clothes on the BS. It's like, yo, dude, if you could do the job, you can do the job.
That's so true. I was gonna say, I don't care what my pilot looks like. I just want to know that if he's skillful to fly that 747. That's it.
Yeah,
that's a
fact.
Good
morning, Captain. When I get on the plane, good morning, Captain. How you doing? I'm doing good, sir. I just want to know that he's skillful enough and he passed all the stuff that he needed to pass to fly that 747 to get me from point A to point B in a safe manner, man. But nah, Cam, I definitely dig what you're saying about people having this air about themselves and what they think was the idea of what a person looks like successful. Successful could be a whole lot of different avenues, excuse me. And with that said, people are, what you just said, it's just so important. And how, I think people, you said the thing about the sheep and stuff like that. You be me and DA's conversations, man, because we be talking all the time about how I was like, man, everybody's going that way. I don't have to go there. We ain't got to go that way, man. That's
it's traffic that way.
Yeah, yes, sir. And you know what, you man, Cam, you're gonna do very well.
Yes,
you use some real life comments, and I'm sure you're already doing. In your own mind, you're already on your plan. So what I'm saying don't really mean a whole bunch because you're already driving.
It means the world. You've been here.
Yeah, but brother, I'm telling you.
You said you was in high school when I was born, so you've been around.
I was getting knocked out when you was born, so I was in the ring trying to do that thing, in 87, 86. So by middleweights, I was go, oh boy, but they always had you. Well, we'll talk about that later. But like that saying that we saying, oh man, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. The reality is that if you look at life, those sayings mean a lot, man. So if you're in your lane and no one else is going that way, you get there with no problems, the way you want. You can stop off, go to the bathroom, get back, and you'll still be on time, right? Because you're there in your lane. Maybe there's another 5-6 guys in there, but you're not on I-95. You know what I mean? So you don't have those issues because you're not trying to be everybody else's ideal of success. Success is in here first, and what you see it as in your mind, like where you want to be, how you want things to look like when you get to your destination. Do you want to live off the coast with a huge house? Do you want to be an influence to a lot of people? Everybody has their own thing. But unfortunately, what we get caught up in is corporate America, working, paying bills, having to,
consumerism.
Yeah, 2.5 kids and a fence and 1.3 dogs, right? So
who told you that dream? You were conditioned.
Yes.
All TV is commercials in between BS.
Yes.
You could find a 2-year-old. They can't read, they can't speak, but they know the McDonald's sign. Yeah. You've been conditioned from a child to always want more. The new things coming out, the new iPhone's out, the new laptop is out. And if we spend all our time trying to work to buy all these things we need, you'll never have enough money to buy everything.
Never.
So I lived in my van for 3 years. Yeah, and the first thing I learned was 99.9% of the things you own, you don't need.
Don't have to have them.
Nope.
Once you stop purchasing things, I mean, you now have the bandwidth, the time, the money to actually do the things that you do find successful. But too often we're trying to keep up with the Joneses because we think this is what success looks like. Most successful people are unhappy. Most people are on some type of pills, depression. Like most people are unhappy. I'm not trying to live the life most people look.
Yeah, they're not successful. They're just like you said, they're playing that role. You know, they were good at this in college, so they kept going with it, and they're a super duper programmer. They do this, they do that, they sell the soul, all these things, and they get to the top of what is perceived by other people to be the top, and they're like, man, I wish I was a surfer, or you know, I wanna own dogs. Like that's my thing. Like I want to get rich, not rich. I just want to have enough so I can have a lot of dogs, make a lot of dogs, and sell a lot of dogs. Because I love dogs. I like dogs more than I like people. So, you know, I don't.
Dogs are the best people.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need to have a Benz and this, that, and the third. Like those things have long ago stepped away from my life. So I got where you're coming from, brother. I think you can influence a lot of dudes of what you're saying. You know, New Yorker, you're from upstate, but you're New Yorker.
Long Island.
Yeah, I know you in there. I know you at there. Yeah, we still call you upstate because when North Carolina, everybody said they from New York. We're like, nah, dog. No, there's only 5 boroughs in New York.
Here's my thing about here's the condescension about y'all borough dudes.
Go ahead.
You mentioned you're from New York, and they're like, which borough?
Yeah,
I'm like Long Island. They're like, that's not New York. I was like, send me mail. Send me mail and don't write New York on it.
Yeah, true. Right.
Well, I
only if you're Rakim.
I don't know. Well, D says, yeah, he does. Well, I include Long Island. Just don't say Buffalo and Rochester. that's when I'll be like, that's a different part of New York. You're actually closer to Canada than you are.
Yeah. 8 hours away, but
you know. Buffalo and Rochester, man. Love y'all.
Yeah. Can we throw some shade on the boroughs real quick? The city that never sleeps. Everything's closes at 10 p.m. now.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I don't live up there. We can't.
New York became ass. What's going on?
Yeah, me and Kevin's like this in New York. We're hands off. Like, yeah, y'all can keep that. Y'all can have that. I'm not going back. Okay, Kev.
I think. Well, COVID happened, right, and that shut down a lot of things. And like you said, it's become like every other, I guess, major city where things shut down at a certain time. Because, you know, I gotta go to the drugstore. So you can go to the drugstore too. You can go to Dwayne Reed. I don't even think Dwayne Reed exists anymore.
I think they still may have.
2 a.m. I mean, I haven't been up there in about 2 years, but 2 a.m. in the morning do that. And like you said, Cam, a lot of stuff has absolutely shut down, and now they like everybody else. So yeah.
It costs too high. It's too expensive.
Yeah. Well, we don't live there no more, right?
Yeah,
I left too.
I left. I said, you got a $24 million house, brownstone, and you still got roaches.
Bro, if one person on the block got roaches, everybody got roaches.
We all got
many people on the block. I didn't start drinking dark colored liquids until I was like in my 20s.
Yeah,
because
my favorite was if it was champagne cola. That's the only cola I'm drinking because I'm not drinking anything dark in case of roaches in there. That was I never drank out of cans. Bro, yeah.
So when you come up broke, these are things that only people that come up broke understand. That treatment, a roach try crawling your head, some shit when you were a kid. Like it's
pat
real.
down before you go into school. You don't want a roach come out your book bag.
Oh man, remember that? Dog, you get roasted for like 8 years. Like you'll be a senior in high school and still be called roach book bag. Yo, roach bag. Roach bag. You know how we do it. Roach bag.
Yeah.
He's going to the NBA next year. I don't give a F. Yo, roach bag. What's good, baby?
Well, actually, and let's go on that point. He's going to the NBA. I don't care. He's still roach bag. That's why I moved. Because, bro, I moved away from my family too. Because when I started boxing, because in 9th grade, I got beat up by a girl, right? Then I decided to start boxing. But when I told my family I was boxing, they're like, oh, Cameron thinks he's going to be a boxer. He thinks he's going to be a boxer. Do you know how hard it is for me to try to convince myself I'm a boxer? Now I got to convince the people around me I am too. Sometimes you got to change your environment.
And that's real.
That's real, dog. That's real. Listen, what you just said was a golden nugget, because I think a lot of people stay stuck, like how we talked earlier, where they just think they have to stay or somewhere they have to just no, you ain't gotta do nothing. You gotta do what's best for you. So kudos to you at such a young age, making
Stepping
that
out on
decision for
faith.
yourself.
Yeah, you
Step
stepping
on
on
yourself
faith.
and betting on yourself. Me and D always talk about that
Yeah.
all the time. Betting on yourself, man. Sometimes you gotta bet on yourself, and what will be will be. And like you said, you lived out your van for how many years? Three.
Yeah, listen, man.
3
Guys,
years trying to build my business.
yeah, guys don't understand what that is, man. But
Nope.
that hunger will move you forward.
But if I put in the work, and same like boxing, if I'm in shape, I train, I put in the work, I'm not walking in the ring like there's any chance I'm going to lose.
No.
When I walk in to give a speech, I've already done 1,000 speeches for free.
Right.
Yesterday's price.
It's
Not today's.
not today's.
Because those speeches in your mirror, in the crib, those speeches in the bathroom while you doing whatever, they cost. It just don't cost you immediately, but I'm adding that in to the cost I charge the next guy, right? Because he got the benefit of all of that practice between speech K, and speech L, all those things in practice. You, sir, I am sorry, you're paying. You don't even know they happened, but you pay for that.
Yeah, you're not paying for the 60-minute talk. You paying for the 36 years it took to get it.
Yes, and that's every speech.
But how many of us? Because again, athletes, we have that competitive nature to us, and there's something to rank yourself by. In boxing, I'm gonna beat you up objectively. I'm a better human being than you. Okay, I'm better than you. But like, let's say the corporate world or the speaking world, or there's like when I speak, I'm so competitive. When I get on stage, I don't want nobody to follow me. Next time, put me at the end. That's how I'm trying to. And if I find somebody better than me on stage, cool, you got it. Let's meet for coffee. I want to know everything you know. I ain't mad at you, but I'm gonna learn from you. But I'm so competitive.
But that's go ahead,
you just said a mouthful there.
Kevin's that way, so
because no, what you just said, I want to know how did you get like that? So I have zero problem, like you said, Cam, sitting down with you, absorbing some of what you've done and what you did to get where you got. Because guess what? Nothing is new under the sun. It's just how you do it differently. Some people just put it their own way.
I steal from them all the time. I say, dude, stealing right now.
Yeah.
While we're drinking coffee, I'm stealing right now. The way you may articulate the word, the way you may say this, the way you say this, your viewpoint on something else. How does that fit with my viewpoint? How can I use that on my next project called to kind of be more effective, and more efficient, and win more people over to what because I'm trying to get people to, follow me. And I don't really have no title where I can make you do something, but I need you to do something. So you have to learn influence, and people that can influence are actually, that's what a CEO. This is another nugget. This is what a CEO is. A CEO is not the smartest. He's not the brightest, or she. They may not know what the hell the bottom line of the company is, but they can get that speech, and they can go in front of the rest of the company and give that speech and be so genuine, artificially genuine, that they make everyone else believe that we're going to run through this wall. That's why they pay those people that money, not because they're smart.
Yeah, and it's the ability to assume risk.
Yes,
that's the only way to get the reward.
Yeah. Because if it doesn't work, then that CEO gets fired. But they're willing to do it, and that's what's up.
That's who I am. At the end of the game, pass me the ball. Don't give it to Chris. Chris ain't been practicing as hard as I've been practicing. Give me the ball. If I miss, I'll apologize to the whole team.
Mm-hmm. But again,
Chris ain't gonna miss.
But that's those practices that you had in between that give you that confidence to say, "Yo, I need the rock." Yeah, I know it's sneakers are better than mine. If you want to win, give me the ball because I've been practicing. Chris been hanging out, and I'm not down to Chris, but I'm better than him.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not in a team sport. But I have learned since.
Wait a minute.
Oh, this is why I can't do that stuff.
That deserves applause and laughs.
But here's what I learned though, because I've always been, I'm a dude on my own type of guy. I coach myself in boxing. It's why I box unique the way I do. But when I transitioned into the business world, I had that same thought process. Like, I'm gonna figure this out myself.
Right.
And I have since started hiring people and working with other people. I'm just surrounded with a bunch of people who's smarter than me. And the things I was doing on my own that I thought I was doing right, they're doing it 100 times better than I could do it. I'm learning from them, and it's more effortless if they do it.
Yeah.
And I'm learning the idea of working with a team and leaning on other people. It ain't easy for me because in my mind, it's easier if I do it myself, but I can't scale. And that's the goal.
Yeah. And delegation is probably one of the higher forms of management,
Hardest.
right? That's one of the higher forms. And like Kevin was saying, hardest things to do, but one of the higher forms of management. Once you learn to, one, identify the right people, and to trust those people to do what they say they're going to do, then, things go crazy because now you have more of that mental capacity left to do, again, what you say, what you love to do, what what makes your level of success, your level of influence, effectiveness, efficiency, because now someone else is doing that. And it's not like you're putting them down, but they're doing that hard.
They're better at it than me.
Yeah. And why would you want to do something if someone does it better than you?
Ego.
Yeah,
That's why I was trying to do it on myself.
It's the confidence and ego are two different things. So I got you.
Agreed. There's a boxer that you should definitely have on. His name is Tony Mack. I look up to Tony in the business world because Tony started his own boxing gym in like 2009, and he had like a little space in another gym, and he slowly moved up. He owns I think multiple gyms now, and he used to be on Team USA with me.
Right.
He has built a team of people around him, his coaches, his social media people, and I see the way, because me and Tony, we're building our business together, and I kind of took off a little bit ahead of him because I was doing everything on my own. Okay. And now Tony spent so much time building a team, and it took him a little time to get that foundation, but Tony is shooting to the ceiling now. I look up to Tony, I'm following what he's doing, and I realize he has the management skills that I lack. So every time I meet with Tony, I'm like, tell me more. Because that's just, bro, I'm very competitive, but I'm not competing with anybody really. If you can make me better, then cool. I have no shame in saying you're smarter than me, you're more intelligent than me. I can learn from you. Go ahead, Kevin.
Iron sharpens iron. So that's all you want to do, man. You want to get around people like yourself, like-minded individuals like yourself, and like you said, you feed off one another. You bounce ideas off of you bounce great ideas off of one another, man. And that's why I just tell people all the time, those that are around me, man, I said, you can't really get with nobody that ain't got nothing going on, right? If you're trying to do something, go somewhere, right? That's kind of pointless and fruitless. I said, you absolutely need to get with people who is going the same way you're going, or even higher. So, to do that, like you said, man, get with Tony. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna look up getting Tony Mack, on the show
Tony Mack's man. He out of Dallas. I'm gonna go see him. His birthday's today. He's turning 40, but he's like probably 70 years old. Man. Tony's an old
birthday, young man. Happy birthday, young man.
You knew Tony. There's nothing young about Tony. Tony's been walking around with a coupon book since he's been 23. Tony looked like an old man.
He out there listening to Swisher House and the
he listened to Babyface call a woman Sugarfoot. Tony's an old soul, man.
But let me tell you, man, you said another thing that people don't like. Leadership and management are two different things. A manager can be taught to be a good manager. The reason why a lot of companies fail is because they people that are not good managers in management positions, because you make the widgets better than everyone else, so we'll give you the job to manage all the widget makers. If you're not a manager and learn what management is, you won't be a good manager. Now, that's different. A leader can be born. You have born leaders. You don't have born managers. Man, that's why they teach management classes. So you learn how to manage. Now, whether you go to school like other people do, or you just learn from your boy, Mr. Mac, you know, you're learning how to manage. Like, you know, he's going to give you situations just when y'all, you know, chewing the fat about, yeah, man, I had this girl, man, and she was da-da-da, and, you know, she had a problem with her babysitter, da-da-da-da, and this is how I took care of it, because she couldn't get to work the way she needed to. And this is how I took care of it. And this is how it impacted the rest of my staff, because I looked out for her this way. Or this other thing happened, I had to fire a dude, you know. And, you know, I'm pretty sure you're not scared to fire someone, but I think you're someone that cares about people. Like, well, if I fire this dude, you start thinking about his family. He ain't going to make no money. Now you want to keep him. But maybe for his growth, he or she may have to be let go. And these are like some of those final things that you got to do to put yourself in the position of leadership and management. Because you're already a leader. You know, you're just getting better at the management side of it, you know, and you'll get better because you want to. You know, if you're a person like you are, you'll get better at it because you want to get better at it. There's really nothing else standing in front of you but time and opportunity.
Yeah. Let me go back to the boxing stuff with you, Cam. And it was kind of talked about on your Netflix special. Boxing and amateurism, and pretty much ain't no money in it, right? It's no money. Talk about that aspect for amateur boxers.
So amateur boxing, the reason why, if you turn pro, you can't go to the Olympics. So the only road to the Olympics is the amateurs. You don't make money in the amateurs. I was on Team USA. You only make $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year. That's below poverty in the US. And you can't get a job because no job is going to let you take 3 weeks off to train and 3 extra weeks off to go to Russia to fight. So it's hard to make a living. So a lot of guys, especially when they get a baby mom or life hits them, they turn pro before they're supposed to. My thought process was, because like the shirt we wore at the PAL I went to was keeping kids out of prisons and in playgrounds. Right. It's a youth prevention program. Sports is supposed to get us out the hood.
Right.
No one specified how. Everyone thinks they need to be the best athlete. In my mind, I understood athlete privilege. I date more attractive than I should. I get opportunities that I probably don't deserve, and I get let into doors I wouldn't otherwise be invited in because I'm very good at a sport. That is athlete privilege. So if I have a national championship, and Kevin, you have a liberal arts degree, and we go apply for the same marketing job, who you think's going to get it?
You got it. You got it. Damn, liberal arts degree.
So, and no shade at the liberal arts degree, but in my
which I'm not.
In my mind, if everyone has something, it's not that valuable.
Oh, man. All due respect.
With all due respect, it's in the Geneva Convention. Look it up.
Yeah. Wow. Woo. All right. Straight as a flying off this show now.
So my thought process was, I'm gonna just collect national championships, like college degrees, and then utilize that to build a life for myself for after sports.
Yeah.
Now, even when I messaged you guys to get on the show, if I was some dude, I wouldn't get on. But if you saw 12-time national champion, you're like, okay, we're interested in this guy.
Oh, well, yeah,
that's what sports can get you.
You could have said you knocked down the dude on the train station in Roosevelt, Long Island. Yeah, I knocked out Jimmy in Roosevelt, Long Island, man, on the train station. Man, ain't talking shit. So, bow. Kevin's like, hey, yo, I got this dude, D. Knocked out Kevin on the We're going to get him on. So, yeah, you are fine. Like, you were probably one of the more illustrious guys we've ever spoke to on the show. So,
the Netflix documentary, the reason why I got it, because it was all the boxes. Why they choose me? One, I legally changed my last name to Awesome, so I get chosen for things like that. I get more opportunities. People excited to see what I got to say. If I changed my last name to Awesome, it was marketing. Yeah. Second thing is that Netflix, they did not pay me for it.
That's it.
When every boxer was offered that, they're just like, no, you're not paying. I'm about my money. And in my mind, what's more valuable for me than money is I asked, is that a made by Netflix documentary? Because that means it will always be on Netflix.
Yes.
That is the calling card. That is just as powerful as my 12 national championships. It's immediate credibility. And I leverage these things to get what I want out of life.
Knowledge is power, sir. And that's
Bro, I'm
what
a hustler.
That's what you exhibited.
That's what you are for sure. Yeah. When I first talked to you, and we had the pre-talk before we actually did this, and I think I was asking you about a boxing match that went by, and you was like honest. She's like, yo, I really don't know who's fighting or whatever, right? And you was honest, but the way you said it and the way how you played it, and then made me really take a deep dive into what you do. I said, okay, I see why he really doesn't have time to do anything else to watch that, because he's doing it. You're doing your own thing, and you even said it in the pre-talk with us. He said, yo, you leverage what you had in this, and you didn't even privy us that information about Netflix not paying you. But like you said, your name and that the fact that you was highlighted by Netflix, man, like you said, instant credibility. People absolutely will look like, oh man, this guy, Cam F. Awesome, man. His name is awesome, man. That's great, man. His mama, wow, his family is great. You know what I'm saying? that your name will be in light, so to speak, and you can leverage that stuff. Go ahead, D.
So at what point in time, and in my mind, it probably happened before you changed your name to Awesome, did you realize that this boxing thing, you're going to take this and whatever it could give you, you were going to kind of, as Kev said, squeeze the juice out the orange as much as you possibly could outside of boxing to the rest of your life? At what point was it that you started thinking about that?
Probably the first time I got in the ring and sparred, I thought I could be the greatest in the world.
Okay, cool.
Just because, for no other reason, because TNT takes no talent. All the actually good, talented boxers in the gym never worked that hard because they were already good. I was trash and I was afraid. Like, I got beat up by a girl. I'm showing up extra in shape. And I realized if I can just be in better shape than you and you get tired, you can't win. And bro, I'm more of a man than you are, because you're going to go see your family on vacation. Like, you're going to take vacation. You're going to take Christmas to see your family. I'm not going to see my family because I'm that afraid. You going to spend time with your girl? You go spend time. I don't even have a girl. You going to go to your sister's graduation? I miss my sister's graduation because I'm going to be in the best shape possible. Like, preparation is everything.
Yeah.
And it's based off fear.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I mean, I've not been in that situation. If you ever meet any of my boys, they'll tell you as a kid, I was a bit of a ruffian until I got my first sparring match with that little Spanish guy on 109th Street that beat the living hell out of me for all of 7 minutes. And at the end, I don't think I remember the last 2 to 3 minutes. I don't remember, but my boys to this day, they don't know how the hell you get. I said, I didn't know I was back up. Like, it was one of those things where at the end, I thought it was only like a 3-round joint, and it was like a minute rounds. You're sparring first time. You worked out for a while, you jumped a lot of rope, you did a lot of push-ups, you did a lot of running, and then you got in there and got beat the hell up. And nothing I did worked. And at that point, I said, yo, D, we got to figure out something else. Like, we can do some other things. We can do some other things, but it wasn't
work on our jump shot.
Yeah. But I didn't want to do that either. And Kevin tell you I did a lot of things, but I learned, I took out of it what I could take out of it. Like, this is the best way for me to stay in shape. And I always felt, and I still feel, like, even if you learn how to fight a little bit, you'll beat up everybody in the street. So I tell my son to tell my grandsons, like, yo, listen, this is what you're going to teach them, right? They're going to, because this piece of confidence, and Kevin talks about it in football, the ability to move a man where they don't want to go. I did that in high school football. Like, that's a piece of arrogance that other people don't know.
Bro, there's a 130-pound girl out there who will throw you around like a rag doll because she does jujitsu.
For
It's
sure.
If I had a daughter, she's going in that. If I had a son, the first thing I'm putting them in is gymnastics and wrestling
Yeah.
because the
Right.
core strength and coordination from gymnastics. Yeah, we made fun of kids in gymnastics growing up, and now
They strongest dudes in the world.
they strong as all what. And wrestling because it's without the physical contact of boxing, but that pressure of one-on-one and the discipline that happens before the actual match, the making weight, the skipping the meals, the going for runs, all that type of stuff. Bro, the garbage bags. Now if you're doing this before you go to school or before you go to work and then you stop your sport and all you have to do is show up to work on time, life becomes tremendously more easy for you.
Yeah.
So like doing difficult things makes the rest of your life easy. And I think that's why athletes become so great at things because they have the consistency. I mean, sports chasers, you guys have your stuff together. And it's like you probably have consistency because you had to be consistent in sports.
Oh, you got Kev. So he's Kev. a few hundred episodes in is Kev. So but yeah, I agree with you 110%. And it's not easy. But it's not supposed to be, and that's what I tell my kids. Is it who promised you easy? That's what I ask.
Yeah. Who told you you deserve to be successful?
Yeah. That is hard. Well, so what's your point?
That I think a lot of times people are as successful as they're supposed to be.
Bars.
That's a nugget right there, boy.
As the young cats say, those are bars.
Yeah. Bars.
Those are bars. So yeah, what's the book my son sent me this morning, man? And it tripped me out, man. Because we talked about this yesterday, and
make sure you get past the chapter 1 and do that.
Oh, well, I got it.
I'll even go a little further on the lack of execution. All the information is out there. To me, all a college degree means is you learn something that everybody else learned. I don't care about your degree. I don't know what you know. What can you do with it? Because you know who knows everything? ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I pay $20 a month for it. Now, so I asked ChatGPT, what's a business I could start for under $1,000? One of the first ones that came up was a car detailing company. I said, well, how do I get started? It told me the links exactly what to purchase off Amazon. I bought all those things. What's next? Told me to create an LLC. Went out and did that. Get a bank account. Went out and did that. It created my logo. It helped me build the post for my first social media post. And now I have a car detailing business because I executed on everything I was told to do.
Makes sense.
Information is free now. Action is the real currency.
Yeah. So now competition is a mother. Because it's no longer like when we were younger, where you're like, okay, well, the guy that has the master's degree knows far more. No, not anymore.
Now I'm gonna hire that guy with the master's degree.
Yeah, because you know what? I went on ChatGPT and it told me how to start a business while he was knee deep in a book doing a report that meant nothing.
And debt.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't even up on game that college is a business.
Yeah.
I saw a video of this man celebrating with his kid that his kid got into college. I'm like, you're celebrating that your son gets to pay for a service?
That doesn't benefit them. And that's why
and not even benefit them. Treat college as a service. They work for you. You paying them.
Yeah. I believe, I think, Cam, when we were younger, probably in your lifetime, we used to have trade schools. And there was in this, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so Kevin will tell you.
I think it's coming back. I believe in all
conspiracies. That, they actually, in New York, I went to a trade school. My first high school before I got kicked out. I went to a trade school for carpentry. And I'm not sure how much better or different my life would have been had I not got kicked out of there. But I ended up in a Catholic school. I got into sports, wrestling, and football, and everything else. So it was really cool, right? But the reality is, for the country, pushing all these kids to go to college did nothing but push this debt, this $1 trillion debt to these schools, right? Because the degree, no disrespect, respectfully, may not be the degrees may not be worth the paper they're printed on, right? So
Bro,
if
the
you
fact
have,
that they're begging for forgiveness for their loans means that your degree wasn't worth what you're.
go ahead, Kim. I was gonna say
Bro,
it, but I didn't want to get canceled. So you go ahead, bro.
I'll say it
No, we're
Go
not.
because
ahead.
Go
the
Go
thing
ahead.
is like,
Go
all right,
ahead.
so my name used to be Lenroy, right? So sure, you get your degree or whatever, but do you think I'm going to be able to climb the corporate ladder with a name like Jamal or Tyrone?
Yeah.
I have to build my own ladder. I ain't climbing no one's ladder, and it's going to take me a little bit longer to build my ladder. I could have turned pro and made a lot of money on a signing bonus and built a career, but I decided to bet on myself. So I started a speaking business, and although I'm not making the money I would have made right now if I turned pro, the older I get, the more my words are valued. Like at 35 as a boxer, my career is over. But the more gray hair I get, the older I get, the more experience I get, the more my words are worth.
I can tell you something, Cam, and this is definitely because I want to make sure the dude see me out here. He don't beat me up, man. But the way you speak, you're very articulate. Riddick Bowe lives out here by me, and that's about all I'm gonna say about that.
Yes. You don't got to say anything else.
I'm not.
I'll take it
They're
here.
gonna jab me in my head. You know?
So I went to a Hall of Fame boxing meeting. It was like this gathering with all these top boxers. I shouldn't have been in the room. I was lucky to be there. But this guy saw me. He's the older pro. He'd been around. You'd know his name. And he's like, "Oh man, Cam," and he said his thing. And then 30 seconds later, I saw him. He did this. He's Cam. He did the same exact thing as if he didn't remember seeing me. His wife walked over to him, held him by the shoulders, and just walked him away.
Wow.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was like, oh, there's only one person who doesn't know there's a punch drunk person in the room.
Yeah.
The person himself.
No,
That's why
that's scary.
I respect my man Floyd because he kept his wits, and that's basically because of his boxing style and his, by the end, his broken hands, like he just didn't take those fights anymore. Where
he shouldn't have.
No, why?
The greatest boxer to ever live is Floyd Mayweather. The reason why we fight is for belts and bills, like money and belts. He made more money than anybody else, and he won the belt so many times. He refused to pay the sanction fee, so he would win a belt and give it right back.
Yeah, and remember,
because you got to pay like $300,000 a year to be like
right.
the WBC belt, and he's like, my name is bigger than the belt.
Yeah,
he's the greatest. I don't care about, it's a business. He understood the business of boxing. He's not the greatest athlete.
Nope.
He's the greatest boxer. He's the greatest businessman in sports.
And Cam,
$0 in endorsements.
He took the heavy fights in the beginning. They weren't giving him that money, but he said, okay, when this contract is over, you'll see.
I got something for you.
We have a plan. And the plan was there. He just had to wait to get out of some contractual obligations, I assume, to move into what he wanted to do. And he did so. And I'm like, yo, dude, this is what this is about. Thinking. The world moves forward on thinking, on thoughts. You move at the speed of thought. Everybody moves at the speed of thought. So you can tell the dudes that ain't thinking because they're moving real slow.
Great.
So
that's crazy. Cam, let's talk about the vegan lifestyle, man. The vegan lifestyle. How did you get into that, man? How did you become a vegan?
I lost a bet and had to do it for 28 days.
That's real, though.
I wouldn't have done it. You couldn't have paid me to be vegan because I didn't know anything about vegans. I know they're weird, but I lost the bet, had to do it for 28 days. But I felt so good after the 28 days. I was like, well, I'm never going to be vegan. Not my thing. But I'm going to do this a little bit longer until I find a reason not to. It's been 13 years.
Wow.
And
you have found a reason not to. Not yet.
I haven't found a reason not to. I just keep finding more reasons to.
So your workouts, I'm pretty sure you don't work out as hard as you did when you were boxing, but your workouts are probably still harder than most folks' workouts because you were, de facto professional boxer. So how do your workouts feel? Have you seen any change? Of course, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I would say, and it's unfair because before I was vegan, I was drinking, I was partying, I was outside.
Okay.
Uh,
He's in the streets.
You was outside,
So-
huh?
I was outside. But then I'm like, I became vegan. I stopped eating the fast food. I stopped drinking, and it kind of changed a lot about my personality, and it changed the way I looked at life and my health. I've always had an unhealthy relationship with food, and being vegan allowed me to limit my options. I would have to plan my meals before I go out. If I do go out, I have to go to a specific restaurant that's more health-based. In the last 10 years, more places has vegan options and there's
Yeah.
more vegan junk food around. So it becomes more difficult to be healthy. So now I'm plant-based. Plant-based is I just stay away from the processed food and things of that sort. But if I'm out, like I was just in in Vegas and I stopped off at Modern Vegan. It's a school vegan spot. I'll have the fake stuff when I go out to like restaurants when I'm on the road. But when
Right.
I'm home, I just try to keep it as plant-based as possible.
Okay. Yeah, that's it's definitely a changeover. I mean, but I think most folks have stopped, like we talked about before, having knowledge of things now. You got to know, and I'm not going to tell you what to and not to eat, but if you check up on certain items or certain meats and other things, and you see how they're made and what's in there and ingredients.
Bro, you're a
from baby food
conspiracy
on.
theorist.
I'm
No,
telling you,
you're
you can't eat
bro.
that shit.
I've been against the FDA since 2012.
Yeah.
Once I started finding out that it's a business.
It is. Like organic means different things than what you may believe it to be. Free range chickens means something different than what you think it is. Free range beef is something different than what you believe.
Cage-free eggs, cage-free chickens just means they're all in one big cage and they peck at each other, so they have to rip off their beaks to make sure that they don't do that. And they're not giving them any pain pills; they're just ripping their beaks off and leaving them in one area.
And then
but
you got
this ain't this. Yeah, who?
Like free range beef. All you got to do is have caged beef. And you put them on take them to a farm for 4 or 5 weeks where they're not in the cage, and then they kill them. So they've only been outside for like 5 weeks their whole lives. And then, and just know, and I tell this to everyone, if it doesn't say it, especially for a fast food place, if it doesn't say the whole word, they don't have to make what you think they're making. That's why KFC is KFC and not Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Right. I'll go even further. If you understand how the FDA does nutritional labels, anything you put on a package doesn't have to be real. The only thing that has to be real is that black and white nutritional facts in the back and the ingredients. Whole food, plant-based, organic, none of that is real. It's all extra protein. Bro, everyone who's telling you need protein happens to sell protein.
Yeah, listen, we're about to become the nutrition chasers, man. This is like this is the second week in a row. Like,
we had a doctor on. Kev had a doctor on last week, schooled me all over the place, and I loved it.
Yep,
I love that.
He talked about it from a sports nutrition type of deal, and we kind of do that, man. And he was not putting me and D on game, but hopefully some of our audience, because I knew a lot of some of this, like some of the stuff that we eat here in the States, it's outlawed in Europe.
Countries there, you can't have it.
Like, you go to jail for having that stuff over there in your food. Yeah. So, but here, like you said, the FDA, they allow.
It's a business. They're there to help the big companies, Monsanto and this and that one, get money. The 3 meals a day thing is a joke. You don't have to do it. I eat 1 meal a day every day, and I learned that from people in the military that drop it off like you don't need to do that, man. I said, when we out, blah, 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 we don't eat 3 meals a day. Not even 3 MREs a day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't, because we moving, right? And you won't die if you eat 1 meal a day. You will not die.
More people in our country die from obesity than starvation. I don't think we have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, but you hit ketosis easier, if you don't eat all the goddamn time. Like, you'll never get there if you're eating all the time. So, so it is what it is.
I think that's just.
Do you think a vegan fighter would last?
Yeah, I won more championships vegan than I did eating meat. but granted, I was vegan longer than for boxing. But yeah, there's no difference, bro. Is But I would say it's not for everybody.
I understand.
It ain't.
Yeah.
It ain't for everybody. I mean, it's a big discipline thing. Not everybody got that type of discipline. It's inconvenient. Some people are in food deserts. I don't expect everyone to eat
Yes.
or live the way I eat and
Right.
live. But as long as you ain't hurting anybody, and I guess animals are being hurt, so never mind. I'll throw shade on 'em.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're from places that are food deserts, and I know for a fact, like, it's healthier to buy a salad than it is to eat something else, but it's actually more expensive. Like, you can get, 2 cheeseburgers and a this and a that for
Yeah.
less than it costs to get a salad.
A good salad.
Outside. Now, me, I make my own salad because it doesn't matter to me. A head of lettuce is a head of lettuce, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm putting in it. But the reality is that as I'm on my journey to get back into shape, the reality is, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. I've made my decision, and everybody's gonna make theirs. So I without a doubt, man, that's real interesting though, because that part on your body is something that I really would not assume a boxer would do because of the strains on your body, the running, the this, the that, the needing. You're constantly burning carbs with what you do. You got to put a certain amount of calories in just to stay upright.
Oh, yeah.
But that was all I was thinking. So all right, yeah, understood, sir.
What's your favorite vegan meal?
Anything my girl cooks that I don't have to do dishes.
There you go.
Well,
I'm a very simple man.
We're
I'm a
popping.
very simple man.
Well, they say that it ain't really too hard to please. So yeah,
yeah, that's true. Let's talk about this comedian now. You're a stand-up comedian, man. How's that going? How long have you been doing that? Tell our audience what's up with that.
So I've been doing it since 2012. Yeah.
You've been doing comedy since then too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you do comedy as well?
No, he should be though.
I don't have the temperament, man. Like, you a boxer, so dudes are not going to mess with you and heckle you. But me, my ass be in the crowd fighting every night. So what's like my joke? What? A comedian gets beat up again, So like that, because nah, man. Because I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just funny. So I'm not trying.
Yeah, that was the comedians. It's hard to make money doing comedy, and I was already a broke athlete, and money's very important to me. The happiest I've ever been is when I've had money. So turns out money does buy happiness, and it solves problems. If money can't solve a problem, it's not a problem, it's a reality. So my plan was to make some money in my life, and I went into comedy, realized there's not a lot of money there. So I do stand-up comedy at corporate speaking events, and that way I can do my comedy while still getting paid.
Man, you're killing me. You're killing me, man. Let me eat. I met one of those dudes before I got my package from TIA. Okay, right. So about 15 years ago, man, I met a dude doing it, man, and I was backstage with him, talking, boom, boom, bow, and he did the comedy skit, and I was like, "Yo, man, how much you getting?" And he told me, and I was like, "Wow." I said, "Word?" He said, "Oh yeah, y'all pay." He said, "I'm not going to do Caroline's." He said, "Damn that." He said, "I'm not doing that." He said, "I'll do IBM though."
Right. It's
makes sense.
It's
though.
different out here.
Yeah.
It makes sense. The IBM or the improv? Which one you want? Who's paying more?
And here it took me, because I've been speaking for years, about over 10 years now. But it took me to the point, but I'm making in some speeches, because a fight is about an hour long, a 12-round match.
Right.
My speech is about how long. I'm competing with the boxers I used to box with and making money in speaking. I can speak 5-6 times a week. They can only fight 3-4 times a year.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Like you said, power of the purse. Power
of the purse. Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I hope other young cats is looking and listening to this and say, look, there's more than one way to catch it, to build a better mousetrap, right? You ain't got to be an NBA player. You know, you ain't got to be a drug dealer. Like those, like to me, that's so passe to me. But I believe that there are parts in this country, and there are people in this country that still believe in that. So
they don't know any better.
Yeah,
they don't know any better. So surround yourself with people better than you. Don't hate on people doing better than you. Learn from those people. That's what kind of shifted my mind. I used to hate successful people. I'm like, oh, you lucky, you got all this money, and I realize every time I've run into a successful person, before they tell me about their success, they're looking on seeing how they can make me better.
Yeah.
And the more success I find in life, the more I'm trying to make other people around me better. So don't see someone with the things you have and throw shade. Ask questions.
For those folks, everybody around them that they meet is a possible asset or resource to them. That's why successful people don't down you, because they want to know if you can help them.
Bro, I never hated on someone I'm doing better than.
Indeed.
That's what it is.
Indeed. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I just want to come to the TED Talk, man.
Yep.
You
gotta
September 26th.
There you go. For real?
Yeah, I got a TED Talk September 26th.
Where at?
It's going to be in Montana, Billings, Montana.
You know my
don't go.
Yeah,
I know.
I got a what I would call a grandson that lives out there.
Oh, yeah, and I'm speaking about the power of a positive internal dialogue, celebrating yourself, speaking highly of yourself unapologetically.
And just know, when you get out there, you probably got this already, man. There's a lot of rich MFs out there in Montana, because that's where they go, because the land is cheap and plentiful. And you
I'll go find me a baby mama.
Yeah, you could build a
huge.
Dudes build bunkers out there underneath the houses and all kind of weird stuff, man. But
it's how Kanye ended up in Wyoming.
Yeah, there's a lot of money out there, man. There's a lot of money. A lot of people live in those places. Like, people don't live in urban settings unless they need to.
Or they just have a spot. They just have a spot there to parlay until they go back to their
Montana. To Montana.
Yeah. You get an urban spot, then you could be around concerts, live shows, and stuff. But then when you get your summer home, and there's so many different ways to live. I don't want a big 5-bedroom house. I don't got kids. I want a small condo in 4 or 5 different cities.
Yeah.
To me, that's success. And they ain't all going to be in the States. I'm trying to take myself to Belize. I spent some time in Cape Cocker last year, and I'm like, oh, there's so many different ways to live. So I want to explore different ways before. Just.
Well, your net worth becomes higher that way, because you'll be evaluated by the net worth of each of your condos. That's what calculates how much money you're worth, is what you own. Because
it's all gonna be in my mama name.
Yeah, millionaires don't have like cash, like $1 million cash in the crib, like they don't.
All right, Tom Brady.
hey, make it pop now. That's the right way to do it. Until some people start acting right, they kind of force dudes into a corner. So
my mama name.
They forcing dudes into a corner, man.
Oh, Cam, what advice would you offer somebody, some young person that's trying to maybe get into the speaking business like yourself? What advice would you give them?
Understand business. Understand the business aspect of it, because that's what put me ahead of a lot of other speakers. People were trying to figure out how to be good, trying to get paid at speaking. The last thing I was concerned about was getting paid. My first objective is I want to be undeniably good. Once you become undeniably good, then you think, okay, because good at delivering a message. I don't even care what your message is about. Then you think, who is going to pay me for this? Who does this bring value to? Then you have to start tweaking your message to who that's for. And then after 7 years, you could expect to become successful. 7 years. If it happens before then, good for you. But don't expect it before 7 years.
I think that's in our day and age, a lot of youth think that things are supposed to happen like that, but it's a grind. It's a grind. And your story is definitely. I'm glad you was able to share it with us today, and I definitely appreciate it. One other thing, what's your hardest? do you have any hard crowds, or does it matter to you, or you just deliver the message?
Oh, nah. The only tough crowd is the most terrible human beings in the world, which are middle school children.
Yeah,
Because they know what feelings are enough to hurt them, but they don't have empathy to care. They are
not at all.
ruthless.
Yeah, man.
They'll look at you like boring. Next. But the thing is, I spoke primarily to middle schoolers, because if I can control a group of 500 middle schoolers with words, then a corporate event with 40 adults. I'm just training with weights on, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he's Mr. Cam F. Also, man. Let's go.
Bro, I'm going to text you, man. I'm going to DM you somewhere, man. All right.
Please do.
We're going to stay in touch, bro. You going to kill him, man. I got to, I got to hitch my wagons to you because I'm older. I'm trying to go over the back nine.
I'm trying to learn from you.
I'm trying to, like I said, we'll stay in touch, but I'm also trying to get you some business too, because I know some folks that you'll definitely be able to talk to. And but man, ladies and gentlemen, we'll hang around, we'll talk afterwards, man. But this has been great, man. This has been really cool. Cam, thank you so much again for
thank you guys for having me
on Podmatch. Shout out to Podmatch, man. They keep doing our thing. They keep matching us with some great great guests, and Cam, he delivered today, man. Like you said, if you haven't seen his Netflix special, Counterpunch, man, make sure you check it out, man. It's a very awe-inspiring story of himself, of his journey, and how he got to where he is at now in life, man. So thank you. We're going to get out here on that note. On behalf of myself, I'm Kevin O'Warren, and for the DA and for our special guest, Cam F. Awesome, man. This is a Sports Chasers podcast. Y'all be good. Y'all be blessed, man. We'll catch you on the flip side. Y'all take care. Peace.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Sports Chasers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms, and connect with us on all social media channels for exclusive content and updates. We'd also love for you to join the conversation, share your thoughts, and become part of the Sports Chasers community. And remember to tune in next time for some more real sports talk. Until then, stay frosty.